now that we're done with introductions, this is the official call to order. I got my gavel. Megan, you can unmute yourself again and report on the number of voting members.
Sure thing. So currently the association has 44 accredited professional studios, 1 accredited professional designer, 11 accredited professional craft suppliers, and 37 professional studios that make up our voting membership.
Very good. Now the approval of the minutes from 2022, which takes us back to Toledo. I hope you'll all take a few minutes to review the minutes from Jim Piercy from our last general membership meeting in 2022 from Toledo, Ohio. Does anyone have any questions or discussion about the 2022 minutes from the general membership meeting in Toledo, Ohio? If you do, unmute yourself and express your questions. Can someone motion to accept?
This is Jerome Durr. I move that we accept the minutes.
Thanks, Jerome. May I have a second?
I second it.
Who's that?
Media, Mazalik.
Okay, thank you.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Can you just hold up your hand in front of the camera if your camera's on real quick, and I'll do a quick count for Jim. Thanks.
Let's do it this way. Any opposed? That would be the easiest.
Oh yeah, any opposed? Hold up your hands.
All right.
Great.
I'm glad that's some good housekeeping out of the way. All right, now we're going to move into leadership and officers report. And I'm going to read what I wrote. This is the first year as president of the SGAA, and it's been a very, very busy one. It's been a long time since we came adding energy and perspectives. Our board of directors gathered in May in Buffalo to discuss our challenges, strengths, and goals. Thanks to several years of digging into the organization's infrastructure, we can now finally start thinking about how we want to achieve new things and build new initiatives for our association and community. We know how vital the Stained Glass Quarterly is to its members, and we have struggled to get it back on schedule. But now we are up to date. I want to express again my enormous appreciation to Tyler Kimball, who is not here today, our staff, and every volunteer, writer, photographer, and designer for all their heavy lifting they've done to get the Stained Glass Quarterly back on track. Digging into more feedback from our members this year, it is exciting to think about our expanding programming and encouraging new ways for us to learn from each other. As we receive insights from various committees and board members, I hope our members will share my excitement for proposed regional meetings, virtual gatherings, and opportunities that focus on experienced and emerging artisans. This goes back to the roots of what we're all about, sharing knowledge to benefit our entire community. While I love that more is happening, the biggest concern that our board continues to have is bandwidth, the resources of people power. And it's not just staff, volunteers, submission, feedback, all participation, overall participation. We're only as strong as the key resources we have to work with from our membership. If we want to see something different, we must get involved, submit our work, participate, and give our team more to work with. The nonprofit landscape today is undeniably challenging, and the pace of change can be incredibly exhausting. Our organization is in the midst of a significant evolution, driven by a strong desire to achieve our members' longstanding hopes and dreams that have persisted over the decades. It has been an honor to be a part of this process for the last year. I look forward to continuing to serve in this capacity. I hope to hear from many more members in the months ahead as we listen to what is needed as we move into the future. The Stained Glass Association has had a long history of member volunteers, playing a crucial role in the success and impact of our organization. In the past, we've had many active committees helping our limited staff to do the heavy lifting. Up until the Philadelphia conference, we've always had a host studio and an active conference committee involved in putting on our conferences. Who better knows a city than a local? These boots on the ground are invaluable in assessing. Sorry about the phone ringing. Okay, somebody got it. Who better knows a city than a local? These boots on the grounds are invaluable in assisting our staff find studio spaces and classroom space and local sponsors. Since the unfortunate cancellation of the Philly conference, our team has acted as the hosts for the Toledo and Buffalo conferences, in part because of the convenient locations to both cities. The last time we had an active conference committee was in 2021. Across the board, American nonprofits today face funding and membership support uncertainties. As an engaged committee volunteer base provides, an engaged and committed volunteer base provides sustainability, as volunteers can help maintain essential functions, even during economically challenging times. Committees and member volunteers are indispensable assets to the Stained Glass Association. Their involvement goes beyond providing additional hands. It enriches our organization with diverse skills, perspective, and a sense of community that enhances our ability to achieve our mission and will continue to impact our stained glass craft industry. I hope you'll read through all of our leadership and committee reports and learn more about the Stained Glass Association programs and initiatives. Take a look at our strategic plan and seriously consider reaching out and getting involved in 2024. We need you. That's my message, my president's message. Ralph, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Okay, hello everyone. As I said before, my name is Ralph Mills. As your vice president, I'm very excited to be involved with my fellow board members, and we're working on strategic planning. As long as I've been on the board, it's always been, or I've always felt there's been more work than we could possibly accomplish. Not enough time, resources, or people to do it. Our long-range planning is gaining major momentum, and I'm looking forward to an active role on the executive committee to help shake things up and make things happen. Thank you.
David?
All right. For some of you who don't know me or how I got into the position I am in now as the interim treasurer, I do have an MBA in finance. I worked in banking for over 25 years, at the same time helping out the family at our J&R Lamp Studios in Midland Park, New Jersey. My family finally convinced me to retire and take over the studio. So I retired from banking and essentially was the chief financial officer, estimator, studio production coordinator, bathroom cleaner, all the bad putty jobs nobody wanted to do. And after my mom passed away a couple of years ago, a decision was made for my wife and I to take over the studio. Now, you know, I made mention or made a mistake of mentioning my past financial experience at a conference, and I was asked to become the interim treasurer here on the board when Josie Geiger was no longer able to serve in that position. But, you know, it's been a wonderful experience for me now as treasurer. I want everybody to know that I do have access to all the QuickBooks, to all the bank accounts. It's not only me looking at this information. It's not done in a vacuum. We do have additional support watching the finances from Art Services Initiative of West New York, who does the monthly bookkeeping and reconciliations. We also have an accounting firm that does our annual tax reporting for us. It's Bonadillo. I review the balances and the reports monthly. Just make sure we're staying on track. with cash flow and how we're doing with the budget. Just to give you an update where we were ending third quarter, as of September 30th, the SGAA had a balance of $35,945.17. The primary funding that comes from our organization is through membership dues. As Megan said before, we've had 44 accredited professional studios, accredited designer, 11 accredited professional craft suppliers, 35 professional studios. We have 588 affiliates, and we also have 351 subscribers for the Stained Glass Quarterly, which brings in income. Additional funding that comes into the organization for our activities comes from the Stained Glass Quarterly and the Sourcebook. Currently, we only have about 40% participation in the Sourcebook. We're looking to get more people involved in the Sourcebook, as it is great impact for our advocacy work that Megan's able to do for the organization, get the word out there, make sure everybody knows stained glass is still here. Most of our money that's spent as an organization, especially in this last year, was on the conference. It accounts for over 50% of our annual budget. We spent nearly $215,000 this year on the conference. We did make a net profit on the conference of about $18,000 this year, which will add to the money that goes into our coffers so we can continue doing what we do. Cash flow is always a concern. We do not have a line of credit. So when membership dues and the invoices go out, when advertisers get invoices, any exhibitors at the conference, anybody who gets invoices, we have to make sure they get paid in time. Unfortunately, we did have a couple stragglers, and it does impact us because we still have to pay for the Stained Glass Quarterly. We still have to pay our bills while we're waiting for money that, maybe 60, 90, 120 days outstanding. Megan and her team has done an excellent job contacting people to get that money back in. So we're looking pretty good right now. Megan and I are working on the 2024 budget. We should have that wrapped up in a couple weeks. And this year we are currently on track to make a small net profit, which is exactly what we want. We probably could stand to have a little bit more in our, coffers, but we're in a good position. And that's my report.
Very good. Jim?
Okay, and in Toledo, the membership voted to set up a special revision committee for the bylaws. That was set up. I was put in charge. We have worked on it. Hopefully, I plan on having it done in a year. It's taken a little longer than that. But in order to redo the bylaws, you got to redo the rules and procedures. So the draft of the bylaws is ready. You should have that in your hands. It's been done. Committee signed off on it. The board signed off on it. And so it's been sent out to everyone to review and hopefully approve. There'll be some major changes from the old bylaws. The old bylaws were just tacked together, I guess, with bubble gum and duct tape over 40 years. It was time. They were getting really cranky to work with. There are a lot of vestigial items in there, things that we no longer used, had no use for. So this article says it would behoove you to look over these closely, because a lot of these new things in the bylaws may affect you personally and professionally. Important thing about these bylaws, it places much more responsibility on the board. It's a good thing because it allows us to respond and be much more flexible. There are provisions in the new bylaws for what we're doing right now, electronic meetings. It's probably better if instead of me going through all of this, if you have questions for me to respond to your questions, or when does everyone have a chance to vote on this, Megan, by what, in 10 days?
There's time for during the bylaws committee report, there's time for people to ask questions then, and we can pull up the bylaws then. But everybody's gonna have because of Thanksgiving, we forgot Thanksgiving was next week. Everybody's gonna have about a week and a half after this meeting to review the bylaws and get us their vote. And you will receive another email with a link to the bylaws and a link to the ballot if you are a voting member when this meeting concludes.
Okay, so thank you, Megan. So if you come up with a question between now and whatever the vote date is, email me. It would be good to email with your questions, but it would be good to copy the board when you email me if you have a specific question about a question about a specific item in there.
Megan, put Jim's email address up into the chat.
Well, I mean, it's in the source book. I mean,
Well,
anyway,
I don't have a source book.
well, it's online, right? So
Everybody should be in the source book.
It was we put all the board members and all the committee chairs' emails in the State of the Association newsletter, right at the header of their report. And here's Jim.
okay, so it was pointless to redo the bylaws without doing the manual of rules and procedures. And that is just about ready to send out for a final board review before it goes. But this is a board. The board does the manual rules and procedures. And it's just about ready, but I would imagine, and I'm not sure exactly how this would work, but I think if we adopt the new bylaws, we still work off the old rules and procedures until the board adopts the new rules and procedures. Does that make sense, Brian?
It does.
Okay. So, committee, the board wants to know what everybody thinks about this. So if you've got any questions, be sure to contact me. Be sure, if you would, please, to copy the rest of the board. If you send me, if you email me, of course, you can call me too. But I don't give out my phone number, so it'd be hard to do. So anyway, that's it. Right?
I see Ted Ellison has come onto the chat. That's good. Hey, Ted. Another board member. All right. Anybody have any immediate questions? Okay, Megan, you want to give your executive director's report?
Sure. Thank you all for joining us today. We are coming to close our 120th anniversary year. And believe it or not, y'all hired me just about exactly 5 years ago today. So thanks for sticking with all the changes over the last 5 years. I was trying to figure out what to reflect on as a whole when we were putting together our State of the Association report. And the thing that we joke about most often in the office here is, boy, if I had $1 for every person that told me stained glass was dead, we would have enough money to operate for the next 20 years. We could cover our operating budget for the next 20 years. Growing up, I was told that. Now in this position, I'm told, whether I'm talking with stewards or the public, I hear it. But honestly, the worst offenders are us, is our own community. I am told by us that we are dying. And I get to sit in this very unique position in this chair, and I just don't think that's the case. So I was really excited that we got to come to Buffalo this year, that you all got to see our office spaces here, the community of support that we have here, how we're doing things. But in researching the conference here, I came across this really interesting article about, and it happened when we moved the association to Buffalo, people went, Buffalo, New York? But I'm not originally from Buffalo. And so I've always known of this as a place, thought of this as a place where people are really proud to be from Buffalo. And it turns out it was not always that way. In the 80s, there was a massive campaign launched called Talking Buffalo Proud, because everybody went Buffalo, right? And everybody thought about Buffalo as a place where there was snow and it was Rust Belt and it was awful and the red light district. And the biggest offenders were Buffalonians themselves. And it took some time, but that campaign paid off. And now when you find somebody from Buffalo, and if you came to the conference, I'm sure you experienced it. If you ran into somebody from Buffalo, they would talk your darn ear off about how proud they were to be from Buffalo. This is a place where there's a lot of civic pride. We're experiencing a renaissance now. And I think as a community, we have got to take a lesson from that, because we are doing really incredible things. And I would love to see us start to talk stained glass proud and say, instead of our first response to someone every time we start talking about stained glass being, yeah, it's really hard, stained glass is dying. We've got to talk about the positive things that our community is doing, because we're building these really incredible partnerships. We're building these really incredible programs. And when you look at the accomplishments of these last few years, and you look at the conference we had this year, we had 2 exhibitions this year, and we've got some really big dreams still, and we're going to need partnerships and relationships to do that. And nobody wants to align themselves with somebody that's dying. That is planned insolvency. We don't want to do that. So my big ask to the community is that we craft a new narrative that stained glass is not dying. It's hard, but if you look at the history of stained glass, it's not any harder today than it was 120 years ago. It's different. We have different challenges, but we're really lucky in the United States to have, some strong manufacturers, and we've always wanted apprenticeships. We've always wanted more education. And I think with the foundation work we've done in the last 5 years, we can have that. And I think the biggest hurdle we might face is our own attitudes. So I would challenge us at whatever stage we're in our stained glass journey to think about how we talk about our industry, and to maybe start talking stained glass proud. And that is my report. Thanks so much.
Okay, thank you, Megan. Committee reports, and we're going to start with Governance Committee by Jim Piercy.
Well, I'm pretty much giving them a report.
Okay.
You have the bylaws in your hand, read them. This meeting is being recorded, so it's going to go out to those who could not be present this afternoon. And sometime a few days after Thanksgiving, you will vote by email, and the votes will be counted. And again, if there are any questions, contact me or anybody else on the board, on the committee, on the board. The board knows as much as the committee does. I don't know, anything else you want me to say that's not on the script?
You want to read because of the changes?
Read what?
I'll do it. Because
No,
of the, Because of these changes so drastic, we'll be sending out a ballot via email to all voting members as soon as we can load the recording from tonight, so that anyone with questions can also reference the meeting recording. I know you said that, but I just wanted to get it off the script verbatim.
We didn't know if
Tyler?
anyone could have questions today too. The meeting's also an opportunity for people to ask questions now, if
Yeah.
they've already read it. We'll also have time for questions at the end.
I will say this, that Jim has worked extremely hard on making sure the changes were accurate. And he wouldn't let me review the changes long distance. He got his Tesla, his brand new Tesla. He got a long extension cord and he drove from Orlando, Florida, across all the Gulf states, including Louisiana, where all the alligators live, and came to Waco, Texas to sit in my office and go over each and every line and sentence and every jot and tittle of the bylaws until my eyes crossed. So Jim has put a lot of effort and time into this, and I cannot tell you how much I appreciate you, Jim.
Well, thank you. But Bryant, the worst part of that is not driving through the states with what, alligators? Is that what you call them?
Yeah.
It's driving
Gators.
through all those 5 states that were loaded with elephants, because they're all Republican states. And I was hoping I did not have a breakdown in my Tesla, because I'd still be sitting there.
Sorry. Tyler, you want to give Tyler's not here. Who's going to give this report?
No,
Right.
Tyler is
Ma-
not here, unfortunately. I know he wishes he could, so I do apologize on behalf of Tyler. For those who don't know me, my name is Nicole. I was brought on in August as the editorial and education manager, so I will be doing the SGQ report for everyone. Let's see here. So yeah, I am here to help Tyler and Megan carry the SGQ through the timeline, bring on new subscribers, advertisers, while working to excel the content in the layout of the quarterly. You may have noticed some new content. We have 4 new columns: Ask a Scientist, Crack Up, Health and Safety, and Tooltip. I highly encourage everyone to submit to those. As mentioned earlier, it just, we want to get some more submissions and get more people involved. And also mentioned before, we are back on track for the quarterly timeline with the back-to-back publication of the spring and summer. We are back on track, and we recently had a committee member meeting and we discussed the 2024 editorial timeline. You can see that on the newsletter there. We are going to be printing the fall one middle of December, and then through summer of 2024, it'll be every 2 months, and then from there, it'll be every 3 months. Also, in that committee meeting, we also plan to schedule those committee meetings ahead of time in 2024. So if anybody would like to be a part of that quarterly committee, helping write articles and things of that nature, we would love to have you aboard. You're welcome to email me and we can set you up with those meetings. And then we also plan on bringing writing hours to the table for Zoom. So something sort of like in this setting, before the committee meetings, any of the authors can discuss their ideas and what's in the queue for the future issues. And I think that is about it. Oh yeah, since the spring and summer quarterlies were in production, we have 12 new 1-year subscribers, 6 new 2-year subscribers, and 32 new affiliates. We also have a few new advertisers for 2024. Wismac just re-signed Benari Glass Studio. They had just recently started producing copper foil. So we're excited to have them on for 2024. And we can expect another ad from CBS Dichroic Glass. And yeah, that is all I have.
Very
Okay.
good.
Ed, would you like to give your membership report?
Sure. As I mentioned before, I'm Ed Gilbertson with Gilbertson Stained Glass, Lake Geneva, Wisconsin, and been on the membership committee for a couple of years now. And the membership committee has been in process of its transition for over the last year as we take part in strategic planning process and also listening to feedback to the governance committee about stained glass bylaws and SGA rules and procedures. As a 501c36 organization, we are tasked with maintaining a system of accredited membership. I've been an accredited membership for, well, since 97. And it's been fantastic what the SGA has brought to me from being involved in this way. We have long discussed best practices in the industry standards, and membership applications and membership maintenance are a crucial part of the integrity of that process. The SGAA needs to embrace new technology in making this process more efficient and more straightforward while upholding the integrity of these membership levels. We want to be exclusive and offer more services and mentorships to emergency professionals, and having clearer expectations of these membership levels will assist us in developing those programs and services. In the next year, we will be more involved in helping develop these new membership applications that support the updated SGA rules and procedures. We've kind of already gone over our membership by numbers. I think everybody's probably been emailed all of this. I think they're just really fantastic numbers. You know, for the last year, we have 139 new affiliate members and have retained 70% retention of the new members, renewing affiliate members. We welcomed 6 new professional members in the last year. And right now we have a total of 678 members and 354 subscribers. And I think we all seen the breakdown there. Just a little reminder on the use of the seal. The official design of the SGA seal is a round emblem depicting an eagle encircled with the words, the Stained Glass Association of America. 1903, with 1903 donating the year in which the association was founded. The seal may be used by the board, the executive office, and by accredited professional members. When used by accredited professional members, it signifies the studio or the company achievements and recognizes recognition by their peers and this association as being one of the organized integrity, as having excellence in design, craftsmanship, quality of product, and professionalism. Further use of the seal may also be displayed appropriately by the accredited professional members as defining in the manual of rules and procedures. Professional members may use the professional logo as defined in the described in the manual of rules and procedures. New member seals are being prepared for the download. The files will be sent to the accredited professional studios and professional members in the upcoming weeks. For our 120th anniversary, the membership committee and executive office wanted to take on the SGA logo and membership seals, a new logo and membership seals. There are too many different variations of the seal spread across our memberships and the website, and the first step is tackling the issues to create new files that were easier to use and understand. We're looking forward to wrapping this project up and delivering to the membership. Any questions about that? To anyone? I think that's my report then. Thank you.
Megan, thank you very much, Ed. As the host of the conference, would you give the report, please?
I will. Thank you guys for coming to Buffalo. We hope you love it as much as we do. it was really, really fun to welcome everyone to Buffalo. We had just over 300 attendees, and it was really the first full conference since we had to stop them. We did not have a conference in 2020 or 2021, and Toledo was a sort of a conference somewhat addicted and brief, but we had so little time to put it together. We planned that conference in just 4 crazy months. So this felt like our first blowout, giant, big conference. It was a very full 5 days. We had, like I mentioned, 2 exhibitions, 5 tours, 20 workshops, 21 speakers. And we were very, very excited that SAMA was a partner to the conference again, because it also allowed us to do the Mosaic Marathon, which we loved participating in. I think that is just the coolest darn thing, and we got a lot of positive feedback on it. We installed that mosaic at Care Management Coalition here in Buffalo, New York. For anybody that wasn't at the conference, we basically built a mosaic marathon style. It is 3 feet tall and 12 feet long, and it is now permanently installed at a nonprofit office here in Buffalo. It's a social services network organization very close to where the shooting happened at the Tops here a couple of years ago. And it was a really, really satisfying, feel good project to be a part of. And it was nice to bring that to our conference program. We had evening social and networking events every single night of the conference. We brought back the manufacturing panel. We've been building a lot of new relationships for our manufacturers. It was really nice to bring that back. And one of the exhibitions that was up for the conference, On the Shoulders of Giants, will be up through January 14th here in Buffalo. So it's actually still, the conference is actually still going for us here at the office. It feels very much like we're actually still at the conference. So looking forward to taking everybody's feedback. We have gotten a lot of surveys back from the conference, a lot of really great constructive feedback. And we've been working with our sponsors to get their feedback. And we're really looking forward to pouring that into our planning for programming moving forward. It's all from me.
Thank you, Megan. And yeah, Buffalo is a wonderful city. The conference was great. I really enjoyed the marathon also, and what it produced and what it means in giving that to the city after the tragic shooting. Hey, Ralph, do you summarize the Restoration Committee report?
Certainly. Yes, the Restoration Committee continues to be fully immersed in rewriting our standards and guidelines. It's a very significant undertaking. We're trying to address the specific needs of both our stewards and our studios. We collected an immense amount of information, lots and lots of images and supporting material, and we're now organizing them for use. Managing this vast amount of materials encourage us to explore what other means of delivery we may have to share what we're working on. Thanks to the many relationships and partnerships that have been built by the office, we've been able to work alongside Megan to gain valuable insights into our stewards' informational requirements. This has been a volunteer-driven initiative, and we have started considering how we will handle the costs of delivering the material both in print and online. In addition, we have identified areas where we need broader community input. We hope that we will have the full support of the accredited professional and professional membership as we send out surveys and requests for information so that we can make these resources as accurate and powerful as possible. In addition, the data we aim to gather presents opportunities for securing future funding essential for the spreading awareness about our educational resources. While securing grants might take time, we're optimistic that they will make that they will enable more effective and meaningful distribution of these materials within and beyond our community. A really important part of work of the Restoration Committee has become the building and maintaining of partnerships with trade organizations and the preservation community, expanding our network to elevate the recognition of accredited professional membership. Finally, we're looking forward to collaborating with our other organizations, other SGAA communities, and the SGAA board on the update of the Department of the Interior Standards and Preservation Brief for stained glass. That's the number 33, which aligns with our own commitment to fortifying our SGA standards and guidelines. As we move forward, the most important thing we do is to find new ways to share knowledge with our community. We share what we know with one another, and we all do better work as a result. Thank you.
Thanks, Ralph. Appreciate you. Megan, would you like to give the Health and Safety Committee report?
I'm back. Ariana sends her regards to everyone. She's out on a job site today, so she could not join us. But her report in summary is that the Health and Safety Committee is really closely intertwined with the Restoration Committee, with other committees here. And we've had some pretty notable projects to work on in the past couple of years. We have been working with the Advisory Council on Historic Preservation to sort of dive into the Secretary of Interior standards. And they are getting ready to revise several briefs, and we are really looking forward to being a part of that. In 2022, as probably many of you know, the European Chemicals Agency, their version of basically the EPA, wanted to list lead as under like a special authorization, which would have required all stained glass studios in Europe to seek a special authorization for use, which would have had really devastating impacts in Europe. Very similar to what happened to us back in the 90s. And we were able to pull from our own archives and work closely with our European counterparts and colleagues to respond to that. They got such an incredible amount of response from the public that the ECHA, the European Chemical Agency, is actually still reviewing the responses from that legislation. So we're still monitoring that. In addition, recently there were some concerns about rules regarding lead dust that our EPA put out. We did attend those public meetings and ask questions. It seems like that is not going to impact our industry at this time. Although I did see that there were some changes to safety kits. So we're keeping an eye on that. I'd like to point out that really what pays for all of this advocacy work and is the Sourcebook. It's the income we get from the Sourcebook that allows us to do all of this advocacy and legislative work. So even if that's not something that you are participating in, you should all be feeling the benefits of that, I hope. We're keeping an eye on brief number 33. We're keeping an eye on some of those legislative issues. The committee is really rooted in the ethos of education and sharing practical safety knowledge. And we really hope that a few of you out there listening to us are interested in joining the Health and Safety Committee, because we would love to have you as we continue to uphold a culture of safety and insights and into how awesome it is to do what we do. And that's it from the Health and Safety Committee.
Thank you, Megan. It's important work that you're doing there. You and nominations report. Our current board is in the middle of our service. Therefore, our only nomination is for treasurer, David Bleckman. He has been serving as the interim treasurer, as you know, and we are nominating him today to be treasurer for a 2-year term. Since we are emailing a ballot out anyway for the bylaws, we'll include a vote on the ballot for the 2024 Board of Directors, including David Blakeman as treasurer. We are looking for additional members who are interested in board service. SGA members interested in standing for election to the board in 2024, 2025 are encouraged to contact the nominating committee through the APT office at board@stainedglass.org.
Sorry, that should say SGAA. That's my
Yeah, I
source
don't.
of the all.
I thought American Preservation Technologies. That didn't sound right.
That is the
Okay.
right email address. I don't know what I was thinking there.
It's you didn't have a cup of coffee at that time. The nominated committee for the 2024 year is Ed Gilbertson, Andrea Denning, and Ted Ellison. They'll be working with those that are interested to put together the slate of candidates for 2024-2025 Board of Directors. So you can reach out to them directly if you're interested in service. And David Judson is not on this Zoom meeting. And Megan will give us the SGA Foundation report for David.
All right. Well, to give you a really short background, the SGA Board of Directors came to Buffalo, New York in January of 2020. David Judson had a cold. And flying in from Los Angeles. And then that was the last time we saw each other for 2 years. So since he's not here, we can blame David Judson for everything.
For the pandemic.
For the pandemic. But
Yes.
no, at that meeting, we talked about as a board the fact that we'd had the stained glass school, but because of some bizarre legal semantics, if you call something a school, you must have a bricks and mortar and you must have a curriculum to apply for grant funding. And we wanted to do more than that. We didn't want to, we wanted to do different scholarships, different programming. So we pitched at that meeting the idea that we would start the SGAA Foundation and that it would absorb the resources and assets of what had been the 40-year-old stained glass school, and we would move forward from there. Little did we know the sort of legal and governance journey that would set us off on. And that's really what we spent the first 2 years doing. One of the reasons that we needed to call for a revised bylaws for the SGAA is because there are really two separate organizations that work symbiotically to do the work of the organization. The association as a 501c6 is tasked with making things better for the industry, with making things better for our members. We have the ability to tackle legislative issues. The 501c3 Foundation, public facing, so it can do all of our education initiatives and scholarships and our exhibitions, and we can get grant funding for all of that now, which is very exciting. And in fact, this year we received our first 2 grants totaling about $30,000 of income to the foundation, which was very exciting. The other thing that it did, taking one for the team at that meeting back in 2020, we had to have some founding officers that were willing to sign their names off on this. And David Judson volunteered as president. Brian Stanton has been serving as the treasurer, and Jim Piercy is the secretary of both organizations, to finish kind of fully separating the organizations for the purposes of grant funding. We are vetting new board members for that organization. But I'm really grateful for, David and Bryant and Jim all sort of kicking in on that. And we did include a link to the SGA Foundation bylaws as well in the state of the association that we sent out. But one of the things that was really, really exciting for us, for instance, I'll just highlight two things that happened in alignment with the conference was when we first started talking to SAMA about the Mosaic Marathon. They filled us in on the support from sponsors, but when we asked them about whether or not they'd ever been able to give an artist stipend, because it's a lot of work while while you see the project happen in a week during the conference, 9 months of preparation and the artist meeting with with who's chosen to receive the mosaic, like all of that's been going on. A design's been creating, preparation has happened, and the foundation was able to ask corporate sponsors for support for an artist stipend this year. And we want to do more of that. That felt like a big win, you all already do a lot. You deserve to get paid for it. The other thing that we did this year is we reached out to corporate sponsors, preservation partners about increasing our scholarship opportunities. And we asked them to help fund students this year, specifically from the Willowbank School. And they said yes. So we were able to increase the scholarship opportunities for our conference this year up to about $10,300, which is a 66% increase in what we are usually able to offer in terms of scholarships. We know that conferences are important. We want to do more to support emerging leaders in the field, and the SGA Foundation offers us an avenue for that. So we've been really excited with the growth. We took the tools and supplies and materials from the stained glass school, and actually a lot of tools and supplies from McElf Glassworks, my sort of life before this life. And they are set up in the basement here at Trinity for those that got to take workshops during the conference. And we also received a small grant this year to start a high school program. And we're really excited about that. So we're doing like very fun, very cool things reminiscent of the dreams of the stained glass school, combined with our sort of present day issues and challenges. And that's all very, very exciting. You're going to get some emails. I know you get a lot from us here, but you're going to get some emails about Giving Tuesday. Giving Tuesday directly supports the foundation. So if you yourself are not in a place to donate, I encourage you to post it on your social media pages and help us raise more funds for the foundation, because it's still a pretty scrappy organization, but it can do really great things for us in terms of getting the public to recognize the work that we're doing and educating stewards in public about how they can better support the work that we do. So onward with our brand new SGA Foundation doing great things.
It's a great thing to have the foundation. And as a trade organization, we could never receive grants, and now we can through our foundation. And it's great. Hey, Megan, where's the next conference going to be?
I know you're all wondering. We're not announcing today, so go ahead and get over that. We have a long-standing policy of not announcing until the ink is dry, and the ink is not dry. We're very close, but the ink is not dry. So thank you all for your patience. I'm sure you're all experiencing in different ways how our service industry has been impacted, and hotel contracts are no exception. In the 4 months that we were planning the Toledo conference, I will have you know, we worked with 3 entirely different sets of staff in those 4 months. Like, we restarted with the hotel 3 times in 4 months. In Buffalo, we worked with 4 total different sets of staff in that year. So it definitely holds things up a little bit. Another reason that it's taking a little bit of extra time to commit is because we have been very serious about building partnerships and relationships with key partners like the Society for American Mosaic Artists. We also have ongoing, we've done talks with the American Glass Guild. We had a joint conference in 2019. So we'll make lots of recording happening. That was because we did not get as many submissions by far. We did not get as many submissions from stained glass artists. So we really, really hope that we will get a greater amount of submissions from the stained glass community this year. We encourage everyone to take a look at the images and join us and submit your work. We would really, really love that. We will also have a smaller, more inclusive traveling exhibition in collaboration with SAMA following their 100 Moments in Mosaic format. It's an incredible public awareness initiative. And so it's a really great opportunity for us to participate in, and it actually helps us raise funds for the foundation. So keep an eye out for those opportunities. Last year, we piloted a fundraiser and friendraiser for the SGA Foundation called Facet and Form. We transformed Trinity Episcopal Church, where we have our headquarters. We transformed the entire campus, the chapel, the sanctuary, and the entire education building, basically into a live walking exhibit of how you make stained glass. People were able to go to different stations and see how glass is made, how drapery glass is made, how we break glass, how we lead glass, how we grind glass, how we paint glass, all of the different things. And it was enormously successful. And we're going to do it again because it supports the work of the foundation. And again, it's about public awareness and supporting what we do. There was a huge call for virtual programming. So we are going to launch that in 2024. And then we will be on the road, and we will try to get back to what we were just starting pre-pandemic, which is that when we're on the road, we will try to have at least some sort of small regional meetup, even if we just pick a bar and all meet there for a drink at the end of the day. So keep an eye out for where we are on the road, because we'll try to see you while we are there. But I'm sorry we don't have a conference to announce yet. It is, it's coming, and we'll make a fuss. You will know as soon as possible.
Okay. Megan, thank you for that. Briefly, could you give us a report on the Sourcebook? And I know that we've been on this call for almost an hour and a half now, so let's try to wrap things up a little faster.
Yep, keeping it short. It is that time of year where we do the call for Sourcebook. We've gotten a lot of questions about Sourcebook recently. So we will just say, you know, like everything else the SGA has been doing for the last 5 years, this is a program that has evolved. It was a print resource when I started that was delivered to about 400 addresses, and then we could not track it after that. It is online now. It is a searchable resource. We can see who's on the page. We can see how they're getting there. People then reach out to us. This has become a very, very powerful program. And it's not just the find a studio on the website. To us, this is now a full program that encompasses all of the advocacy work that we do. When I travel and I build awareness about accreditation with our partners, that is the Sourcebook. So you are going to get we had a link to a full sort of report in the State of the Association showing the analytics and how it's grown and how it's working. And all of our professional and accredited professional members can participate in that program. And we're really grateful for all of you who are, because it supports the advocacy work that we do. And we're really grateful for that. And then do you want me to also wrap it up real quickly with the strategic plan? But not really.
No, I'm going to do that.
You're good.
In May, we met in Buffalo, and we had a very productive, it was a spring board meeting. And just so everybody knows, our board meets monthly on, is it the second or third Wednesday? But we're a very active board, which thanks to Zoom, we're able to do that. And So at this strategic plan this year, we mapped out a future for the organization, something, you know, if you're going nowhere, any road will get you there. And we needed a road, we needed a roadmap, and it gave us 2 months out all the way to 10 years out. And it was good for us because as a board, it gives us something to shoot for. As a staff, it gives our staff some direction and clarity. I serve on many nonprofit boards, and strategic planning is so critical to moving an organization forward, redefining the mission, redefining the mission statement, and giving clarity to the changing times. Where are we headed? So if you want, and I really do encourage you, click on the strategic plan document, look through it. It's great. There's a video showing our weekend, and yeah. I'm going to open it up for questions and answers, and just unmute and raise your hand and wave and give us some feedback. And also, Megan, I would appreciate people if they would tell us how they feel this first time ever Zoom meeting for the SGAA went to them, your opinion. So, any questions? Oh, come on.
I don't do many Zoom meetings, but when I do, they're very productive, and this was a very productive meeting. And it's nice to see all of you.
I think what I feel about, and I want to thank our staff, and they put together a newsletter that, if you had a question about the organization before this meeting, you shouldn't leave with any doubts or lingering questions, because it's all laid out right here. You can click on links and read for yourself what the board has been doing. And I think this is probably more productive than having a business meeting in a hotel where people are coming and going from the auditorium.
Right.
So it's a little bit more intimate, a little bit more detailed, and you can read along with us because you have the script, everything right there in front of you.
I would also like to encourage everybody to step up and join one of these committees. We'd love to have you. I know it's one of the best things I've done for my personal self and my studio to further our knowledge and expertise in the craft and the art of stained glass. So if you have any questions about any of the membership committee or anything else, please reach out, and we'd love to have you.
Laura, you had a question.
I did have a question, and it was answered. I just wanted to say congratulations, because my question was about grant funding, and I'm really happy to hear that the SGA is receiving grants now. That's wonderful.
It's a big step.
I also
Okay.
I see a hand up. Shani?
Jenny, yeah. How does the like, as an associate member, are we allowed to volunteer to help with things?
Oh my
Absolutely.
goodness, yes.
Absolutely.
Oh, okay. And then my other question was, for the seal, I thought I saw before that the little burgundy one for the associate members, that you were allowed to use that on your website. Is that accurate, or did I misread that?
I can pull them up quickly to show them specifically if you give me 1 second.
Okay.
And we can. We can do that.
Yeah.
If anybody has a question while I'm doing that, feel free to jump in.
I'll just chime in. Again, kind of first time member, first time going to any of these meetings. And I just have to say, I'm very impressed. I'm impressed that you have a strategic plan. I'm impressed at the meeting that you had today. It was very informative, really helpful. So just hats off, because it's a lot of work to do these things. So really nice job.
Yeah.
Let me try to do this quick. All right. So if you are maybe kind of, are you seeing 3 logos right now?
Yes.
Okay. The one all the way on the left here, this is the seal of the association. We did have it redone for our 120th anniversary. So that's the seal of the organization that's meant to be used by the board and the office. And then there is in the center, you can see the seal for the accredited members, and then you see the crest for the professional members. And hang on. And there was, when I started, there was a logo for affiliate members right here. Here we go. The 80s are calling and they would like their shag carpeting back. Oh, you guys are all on mute, so you can't laugh at my jokes. That's unfortunate because I was trying to be funny. We're working on it. So this is the hold up to sort of finishing out the full roll up here. But I mean, there was pretty resounding feedback from the survey that we put out. I cannot believe we had hundreds of you respond to that member survey we put out earlier this year. We cannot thank everyone enough. But we know that you guys have SGA pride and want to share that you're a member, and we can completely understand why you might not want to share that as your, like, it doesn't tie in the rest of what's going on here. It does not keep line with the rest of our sort of visuals. We did produce, and you'll see while we're finishing that up, we do have the our 120th anniversary seal, which we did, and which if you go to the website and you go to our store, you can get all kinds of really awesome swag that we rolled out in conjunction with the conference this year, and all of that money supports what we do. And so you can get long sleeve t-shirts and coffee mugs with that on it. But for the sake of websites and stuff, we're trying to bring all of our files up to speed with all of the other progress the association has made in the last few years. And there's a ton of different versions of even the accredited member seal and the professional seal out there right now. I think for accredited members, I counted something like 14 different seals and files that are in use right now. So this is like this is another housekeeping thing that's taken us some time, but we're really excited that we're almost done with this. And then we'll send everybody, all of the members' emails with those files. But we're just working on finishing up the affiliate files as well to keep an alignment thing. So it won't be, so each is like,
Megan, Christine Ordemeyer placed an order a few weeks ago and still hasn't received it from the store.
Well, you are in Texas, and I just cannot help your infrastructure issues down in Texas. I'm kidding. We'll check.
if she unmutes and starts talking, we're all going to be in trouble.
And I'm gonna. You would think the state where the president lives would get preferential treatment.
Once it crosses the border interstate, we can't do anything about it. Listen, we've watched magazines. You know who has the worst is Australia. When we send things to Australia, we just watch them sit in customs for like 3 or 4 months. Awful.
Well, our Pony Express down here isn't working very well. So are there any other questions? Will the files be in vector format?
Yes.
Yes.
Files are fancy. They're fantastic.
And JPEG if you want it in JPEG or PDF. You just name it. Emily, you've been quiet. Do you have any questions? No.
Calling people out now.
I guess if you're expecting me to speak only because I am usually a talker,
Right.
my one question is with regard to attendance, do you feel that this online format might impact the attendance of studios who might, owners, members who might otherwise, accredited, especially voting members who might otherwise go to conference? Might they find it as an excuse to not go to conference, thereby negatively impacting a lot of the events and programming and participation that occurs at a conference?
I see the opposite. I see a synergy forming here. I see an excitement that the more you know about what's going on, the more you want to come and see the results of the planning and see each other. I think that there's a groundswell of excitement for the programs, for the foundation, and actually, contrary to that, I think that there's going to be more accredited and professional studios voting on items with more knowledge about the subject, because we're presenting it in a format that you have time to absorb it. You know, you're actually having a chance to sit down and read through things and take it in. And I also think that the excitement is going to spill over into volunteerism. I think what we've been lacking, and you're asking about conferences. Everybody's asking, where's the next conference? We need a conference committee. We need a conference host. It's difficult for Megan and Nicole and Helen and Amanda to talk to people in Seattle, Washington, when somebody that's local could actually do a lot of that footwork for them. And so yeah, we need volunteerism, and we definitely need Jim Piercy and I talked about this. We need an active conference committee to help lift some of the burden off of our staff. Just in the same way with the magazine, we need help with the magazine and membership. So yeah, so I got your point. This is going to dilute by having these meetings online. This is going to dilute our next conference. I say no. I think it's going to energize our next conference. That's my hope anyway.
Another question I missed some of the introductions, and I don't know who all was actually invited to this Zoom meeting. Was it open to the general membership, or was it mainly only for voting members?
No, to the general membership and voting members.
Okay. How many of the general members, non-voting members, attended today?
I will have to crunch the numbers at the end, but well over half our attendees are professional and accredited professional members, which is wonderful. Claudia, I see that you're trying to ask a question, but you're on mute.
No, I'm saying you have at least one miscellaneous person.
We get part of the reason that we did pre-registration for this meeting was so that we could, you know, get all of that captured. So
I guess I could have a comment that part of my coming to this has been fulfilled because the parts of the conference that puzzled me turned out to be things where you were solving complicated problems, and that might have resulted in the event or the talk I heard. And I was really rather pleased at how resourceful you were. So there.
Jerome, how do you feel it went? Past president.
I think this has been very good. This is the first Zoom meeting I've ever participated in or been involved in. And I hope you're right about not diluting the conference. And being an old geezer, I like seeing the people that I once a year. And I do want to say one thing. I did, my two guys that work with me, I did pay for their affiliate membership, and I'd like to see more of the studios doing that with their help. And I understand, especially some of the bigger studios that have painting divisions and design divisions and things like that, that they don't feel like losing some of those people and getting them into the mainstream of what's going on. But I think I think it helps. I know both my guys said that they were very pleased and happy to be there.
Good Christmas gift.
My one of my senior team members was also with me for the first time this past conference, and she gained a lot from it. I gained a lot from her having her there, and we're looking to, you know, do that again in the future to bring more of my senior people to learn and get involved, and who knows, maybe be on a committee.
be awesome.
I was muted. I was self-muted. I think we should wrap this up and let everybody go break for dinner, and we can resume later. No, I know that our staff has worked overtime, long hours getting this together, and I think it was very well worth it. And kudos to you guys. And listen, if you're looking to write an article for the SGQ, that's a great thing. If you have a project to submit, that's a great thing. If you have a coffee mug, if you own a coffee mug with your studio logo on it, Megan collects them at the office and will display your studio mug at the headquarters. And even on a Zoom call, she will drink from your mug. We call them loving cups.
I had to move my screen before this started because I ran out of time to clean my office, and there's an ocean of mugs sort of to the side that all need to be cleaned. I feel like a very disgusting human right now.
I think my mug is prettier than David Judson's, but that's between me and also, if you have T-shirts that you want to send to Jim Piercy collects and wears everyone's T-shirts. He really likes T-shirts, and that would be a special thing for Jim to receive some love.
Is there a way we can have a fun page in the quarterly that shows some of the stuff?
Sure.
We are always open to those new ideas, or, and there's a news and opportunities section in the quarterly. If you're doing a community project, if there's a way we can support something that's coming up, We have that news and opportunities page. That's another page that we've transitioned. We're also building that online. We have 60,000 visitors and growing rapidly to stainedglass.org every year. And so it's growing at like 140% or something every month. So if you have a classified ad, we're posted that's in the quarterly, but it's also online. If you have news and opportunities, we're posting that in both places. The new columns in the Stained Glass Quarterly were a way to like provide a shorter, easier way to kind of break the ice and get involved in the quarterly. But any of that you have, we love ideas. This is your organization, right? I mean, if a virtual event like this, if you'd like to connect with people in your region and host like a Zoom thing with people in your region, we will help you facilitate that. Really, please, like, reach out to us with your ideas and your thoughts, because we love it. We love it. We love working for you all. We're here for you.
Thank you, Megan.
One of the other things that you can do is when you're on a job and you see some bizarre restoration or repair of a window, take a shot at it, send it to Ralphie and Megan. But I used to go to a friend of mine was Richard Posner, and he always started one of his lectures with he would show slides of how people repaired windows, from plate glass windows to stained glass windows, with duct tape to chewing gum to whatever. And it was just hysterical. I'd like to see something like that for a conference, just as an icebreaker, because we all see the most bizarre. Well, we all know why we're part of this organization when we see that stuff. It's like, who in their right mind would do this? Non-members.
Get paid for it.
And everyone remember that we are a trade organization, and we represent this trade, and it's important that we continue to set the standards and guidelines for others to follow. And so don't you go cutting no corners. It ain't right. So,
Right.
Okay. Megan, this is it. I'm going to sign off because I'm bored. All right.
Well,
Bye,
the office
y'all.
is to shut things down, so we'll still be here for a minute until you're all off. But thank you all for joining us.
Thank you for
Thank you,
that.
everybody.
All righty.
Great to see you guys.
Great to
Bye.
see you. Great job.